You won't believe this, a 72-year-old man, dressed sharp as ever, cuffed and bleeding in a squad car, getting mocked by two cops who thought they could just break him and walk away clean. Yeah, that happened. But what came next? Well, let me back up a sec and tell you how Ezekiel Zeke Marshall flipped the whole script on them, not with fists, but with one phone call that shook the system to its core. Zeke wasn't your average guy. He was waiting outside a jazz club in the fancy part of Meridian City, just minding his business, dressed in a tailored suit that showed he'd seen decades and carried wisdom in every thread. His grandson, Malik, was inside at a networking event, and Zeke wanted to give the kid space to shine, no old man hovering. You know what I mean. But that night, police officers Lance Harper and Greg Willis spotted Zeke and decided he didn't belong, no reason. Just their usual cold stare, heavy like a stone sinking right in your gut. When Zeke accidentally dropped his wallet, which held a faded photo of Malik and some important cards, those two officers didn't just ignore it, they stomped on that wallet, crushing it like it was nothing. Zeke, calm but burning inside, said, "That was unnecessary." And that's when things turned ugly fast. They grabbed him, slammed him into the pavement, punched and shoved him like he was some threat, a 72-year-old man with a sharp mind and a sharper tongue. Thrown into a grimy holding cell, cuffs biting into his wrists, blood staining his cheek. Zeke could have lost it, but instead, he locked every detail in his head, their faces, their words, their badge numbers. They told him, "Nobody's coming for you but Zeke." He just smiled beneath the pain, because he had a plan, and it started with a phone call. Not to a lawyer, but to the Supreme Court. The precinct didn't know what hit them. Meanwhile, Malik, shaky but determined, was filming everything. That video went viral overnight, thousands sharing, hashtags trending, protests erupting outside the precinct. Suddenly, Harper and Willis weren't laughing anymore. The whole city was watching, and the pressure was on. But just when it seemed like justice was near, the precinct fought back, dirty planting drugs in Zeke's car, trying to frame him. Classic, right? The system fighting to protect itself. That's when Maya, Zeke's fearless legal ally, stepped in. She pulled footage of the cops' clumsy frame job, filed emergency motions, and brought federal eyes onto the mess. The Department of Justice started digging, and Zeke. He wasn't just surviving, he was fighting back, piece by piece. But things got darker fast. One night, masked men broke into Zeke's home, glass shattered, furniture smashed, and Malik got hurt. It was clear they were desperate. Court battles raged. Harper and Willis faced interrogation, still arrogant but cornered. Judge Helena Cruz sped up hearings, the walls of corruption were cracking. The city rallied, thousands gathering in the streets chanting for reform. Zeke took the stand with a steady voice, telling the truth, wearing his pain like armor. Then came the twist nobody expected. Zeke was framed with fake treason charges, the system's last desperate move to bury him. Malik was kidnapped. The web of corruption went deeper than anyone thought. Judges, cops, politicians, all tangled in a dark network. But Zeke refused to break. Using digital evidence and sheer grit, he exposed the rot, turning the tide. In the final showdown, officers were arrested, their empire crumbling. Zeke, limping but unbowed, stood tall on courthouse steps, voice cutting through the roar. "This isn't the end, it's just the beginning." The city's police force faced overhaul. Reform promised, but Zeke knew the fight wasn't over. The beast of corruption was wounded. Yes, but still alive. Months later, in a grand gala under marble ceilings far from Meridian streets, Zeke learned of a new threat, fabricated leaks framing him as a traitor, aiming to destroy his legacy and the reform he sparked. He sat in a cold cell, wrists raw, thinking about Malik, the battles, the cost. Justice demanded sacrifice, and Zeke was ready. But here's the kicker. The system doesn't just sleep, it fights back harder. So, what do you think? Is this a story of justice finally winning, or just the start of a longer war? Could one man's courage really change the system? Or does the beast always find a way to claw back? Drop your thoughts below. Have you ever seen power used to silence the truth? Let's talk about what real justice looks like in our world. And hey, if you believe in fighting the good fight, hit like and share because stories like Zeke's, they deserve to be heard.